Up next in the UFC 298 card, we have the co-main event. We have Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. This is a good fight, bro. I don't know how guys haven't fought before. They've both been at the top of the division forever, it feels like. Paulo Costa's had a more rocky record than Robert. Robert's had an absolutely amazing record, in my opinion, one of the best. His only loss was Izzy and then DDP, right? But both champions, right? So it's not that bad again. And Robert himself is a former champ, so not a terrible record if you ask me. By far, before Izzy, if you don't count Alex Pereira, if you don't count Sean Strickland, and if you don't count Jan Blachowicz, those laws that Izzy has, without a doubt, Robert was his toughest fight, 100%, right? So they had the rematch. It was a very close fight, but Izzy still took the win. But Robert, for sure, in my opinion, was the next best fighter of the division other than Izzy, right? And now, obviously, the division changed. Now we have Sean Strickland in the picture. Now we have DDP on the picture. And obviously, DDP coming off of before he won the championship, he defeated Robert Whittaker. Surprisingly defeated. Nobody was expecting that. Absolutely nobody, bro. I mean, DDP is good, but he had this like awkwardness to his fighting that was like, I mean, it looked a little bit amateurish. Like it looked a little bit like he did not know what to do. But then you realize during the Whittaker fight that, oh no, this shit is intentional. This shit is absolutely intentional, and he wants you to think that he's awkward and he can't fight, and then he beats the fuck out of you. So DDP is a good fighter. I like his style of fight, but obviously Robert, one of the goats of the division, man. I mean, the guy has been there with who's. Obviously, he fought Izzy. Bro, why? I was tripping. I was looking at Robert's record. I'm like, why this does not look right? And I'm looking at fucking Izzy's record, bro. What type of shit is this, homie? Okay, here it is. So we have the Duplessis loss. Then he won against Vettori. He lost against Izzy. I mean, his only losses at the top of the division are against Izzy. Again, and then a while ago in 2014, he lost to Wonderboy. But from 2014 all the way to 2019, he was undefeated and completely dominated guys like, well, not dominated, but defeated guys like Yoel Romero, Derek Bronson, Rafael Natal, Uriah Hall, Mike Rhodes, and then he lost to Thompson. That was his last loss in 2014. But other than that, bro, he's been absolutely killing it, bro. I mean, his record is solid, bro. Solid. So for Robert, it's a question of like, okay, how old is Robert? Roberto. How old is Roberto? It doesn't say. Oh yeah, he's 33. He's still young, bro. He's still young. He could still compete for another 10 years if he wanted to, really. If you see kind of like the way some of these guys are doing it. Still a very dangerous dude. Still can be a competitor for the title any day now. But Paulo Costa, on the other hand, is a guy that has been very, I don't want to say unreliable, but he misses weights. He pulls out of fights. You know what I'm saying? He allegedly gets injured, even though his last injury, people saying it was legit. I think he had staph infection. People were saying it was legit, so I see that happening. But, missed weights a couple of times. Went against Vettori, missed weight by like 10 pounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he lost against Vettori, and he lost against Israel. Other than that, the guy's undefeated. Because then he came back and defeated Luke Rockhold, right? But both guys also have a win over Yoel Romero, which is great. Both guys have a win over Uriah Hall. What about Brunson? Have they fought Brunson? No. Anyways, we know that UFC math doesn't really work like that sometimes, right? So just because this guy defeated this guy doesn't mean that now he's going to defeat everybody else that this guy already defeated, right? It doesn't work like that. But just looking at the records, right? Obviously, they have the Izzy loss, which was terrible, and then Vettori loss, and then winning against Luke Rockhold. So 1-1 out of his last three. And Robert, on the other hand, he has a more, I would say, a more disciplined mentality, right? Like a more like, all right, I know what I have to do, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make weight no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be disciplined. And I feel like Costa just kind of uh, doesn't have that, right? However, he has the opportunity. If Costa gets his shit together, how old is Paulo Costa? By the way, great looking man, bro. Fucking, without a doubt, when he was coming up, I was like, oh, this guy's up next. This guy's up next just on looks alone, bro. He looks insane. He's bodied up and he is a handsome motherfucker. I'll give you that. Listen, I'm not gay. I'm straight as fuck. I got a girlfriend. But this guy's fucking handsome, bro. And he's 32. So he's about the same age as Robert. Well, that's a good matchup. Both the same age, same weight class, same similar record, couple losses, but overall undefeated. It's a great fight. Don't be surprised if this is fight of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I'm calling it right now. Is going to be fight of the night. Let me tell you why. Because both guys have something to prove, right? Robert coming off of the loss against DDP, and then the only other guy he's lost to at the top of his game has been Izzy. Other than that, he's undefeated. Paulo Costa, right? Again, lost against Izzy, lost against Vettori. Other than that, he's undefeated too. And they both fought some of the same people. They both fought, Romero, Izzy, Vettori. So it's a good fight, bro. It's a good fight. Both guys have something to prove. Both guys are gonna go out there and just leave it all out. So I'm calling it right now. This is gonna be fight of the night. Now Paulo Costa is a plus 190 underdog. I can see that. Definitely the underdog. That makes 100% sense, right? Robert Whittaker, like I said, he's just more dialed in. He's just more disciplined. You can see it. He's just more professional, right? And I'm not saying that Paulo Costa is not, but again, Paulo Costa's had his fair share of pullouts and misses weight. So that's where I think this fight has to go to Whittaker, I think. I mean, skill by skill, striking, where Paulo Costa, I think, outshines Robert here is in the jiu-jitsu part, right? I think, obviously being from Brazil, but he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, if I'm not mistaken. Robert, he's obviously also good at jiu-jitsu, but I don't know, when you are getting jiu-jitsu trained by somebody not, in Brazil, fucking, it's tough, bro. If you go against a pure jiu-jitsu artist, Brazilian, it's tough. Not saying that he can't get it done, and not saying that his jiu-jitsu is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you learn jiu-jitsu from a coach in another country, and then you learn jiu-jitsu from a black belt in Brazil, it's a little different, right? Not saying that it's black or white. It's not black or white at all. I'm just saying that I think Paulo Costa has the best chance on the ground, on the jiu-jitsu side of it, and that's fine. And I give Robert Whittaker the striking. Robert Whittaker's leg kicks are insane. He throws those bitches with so much power. It's fucking wild. He will knock you the fuck out in 2 seconds. So both guys have impressive records. Both guys have something to prove. Both guys want another title shot. This is a recipe for a fight of the night. I'm calling it right now. But yeah, I think I'll give it to Robert. Yeah, I think Robert's going to take it. Decision. I think he takes it by decision. And I hate to say it because I've called a lot of decisions on this one. So I would hate for this card to be a bunch of decisions, right? And not finishes. But sometimes when you get this, like, cream of the crop guys, that's what it is, right? They don't make many mistakes. So that's why a lot of times if you see a really, really high level MMA fight, people get disappointed because they just don't make mistakes. People get knocked out when they make mistakes, right? People get choked out when they make mistakes, right? But if you don't make mistakes, and that guy's not making mistakes, the guy you're fighting, it's going to be a quote-unquote boring decision fight, right? It's very technical. So yeah, I'm calling it again. Not a good night for the underdogs because I'm calling right now all favorites. The only underdog I've called is Henry Cejudo. Did I? I forgot. But not a good night, bro. And the odd makers called this one pretty well. I think so far the underdogs and the favorites have been pretty spot on. So, but again, they're tough calls to tough fights to call, so it's a little difficult. So props to them. Yeah, I think I'll give it to Robert Whittaker.